right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared DuBois. We're back again. Go tell a friend that we're back again.
Oh, the neck of this shirt looks like I chew on it or something. Your kids ever do that? They were like neck chewers of their shirts.
The 4-year-old is starting to do stuff. He's 4 now, just turned 4 this past week. Yeah, the
time to go get a job.
Big birthday party is tomorrow, so I got that going. Oh no, Saturday. Tonight's Thursday. That's happening on Saturday. Yeah, he's a handful. He's a handful. If you ever watch this show and you're like, God damn it, I don't know if I could live with Jason. Just imagine Jason
all the
as
time.
A 4-year-old.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Right.
Oh, so he knows everything at 4?
No, I'm just. Oh.
Jay Rodius.
Right there, brother. Right there.
I love ya.
Got me right there. Yeah, no. Hey, look, I've grown. I don't sit on fences quite as much as I used to.
Oh,
come on.
I'll give you that. Hey, did you know that Nikki Soup and Sausage and I are hanging out without you?
No, you're hanging out. What are you talking about? Where does he live?
Nikki and I have started playing Fortnite together.
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
I did see that. I saw that development over on the Bestie Slack, patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. If you want to be part of the Bestie Slack, I did see that, and I don't know how to feel about that. Is that do you guys?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
While you play?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I literally am using this
welcome?
headset and this mic.
Why am I welcome?
Yeah, if you'd like to come hang out with us, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm welcome to join.
Yeah.
This is not a judgment. In fact, if I desperately want to be the middle-aged guy who plays video games as part of my decompression routine, I just have no place to fit it into my life. I just don't. I can't.
Nikki and I accept all kinds. Bring us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. We're the last ones in America that are welcoming everyone in.
Yeah, that is well, okay. You're the last ones.
I think so.
Just you guys.
From what I'm seeing in the news.
Oh, okay. I think there are a couple other people out there, but I take your point. I'm gonna do something that I forgot to do before the show started, and I'm gonna see if I can get the phones going tonight. If you want to call us up, I may have a way for you to do that, but I can't guarantee you it's going to work because I forgot to set it up. So
60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, well, there you go. Because I promised Jonathan Tannenwald, JTT,
who's in the house in the chat.
He is in there.
Is that JTT?
OMFPG-13, it's JTT!
Who?
I told him that I would have this ready to go. So yeah, we'll see if I'm able to get
one of the things we were going to talk about tonight is some of the TV stuff with MLS this season. I know JTT was on that call and put out a lot of the news regarding it. So good reporting by Mr. Tannenwald. Go check him out at the Inquirer.
Why don't we do this instead?
Philly Inquirer.
And I don't know if JTT is decent right now. I
don't
know if he's decent. He could be, I don't know what do you think his casual attire is? Lounging around
a turtleneck?
Could be. I kind of feel like he's wearing a blazer at all.
I think he's got a soft pant on. I mean, don't you? A soft pant. When you come home, don't you put on a soft pant?
Yeah. Well,
like my pants right now are entirely too hard. I have denim. Like I got. What's up?
So you're going into a direction. I am somebody who has sworn off jeans. Jeans are not a part of my wardrobe at this point.
Oh, so you're a chinos guy now or something, aren't you?
If I do have to dress slightly above work from home level, I will put on, like right now I am wearing some
couture.
5-pocket pants,
Like cargo pants?
No, 5 pockets, dude. Think about 5-pocket
where's
pants
the
are regular.
fifth one?
The little tiny one where you put your change.
Oh, where you
That's
put your
the fifth
weed?
one. Or it's the it's where the boys live. I don't know which pocket we're talking about here. I'm just saying like
Okay.
that. I do not rock denim because denim is, as you said, it's a hard pant. Not a fan of a hard pant. If you're walking around in Dickies when you don't have to, what are you talking about?
Well,
What are you
I
doing?
mean, obviously, I work in a warehouse environment a lot of times, so I gotta wear durable clothes to work. It's part of the requirement. So I do wear jeans to work.
You have to. You have to. I do not.
I could
sit
get
in
away with
front
a
of
chino,
microphone.
but I mean, I'm a people's man. I'm a man of the people, you know.
You are. Okay, so I was going to say, we don't know what JTT's situation is right now, and he said the world does not need to know about his pants. All right.
Clayton
But-
says JTT, I bet lounges in 90s alt rock band shirts. Jason Hoover says, I envision JTT wearing some khakis and a sweater vest at home. This is
Well, hold on.
that's two very different versions of
No.
JTT there.
Now I'm imagining JTT sitting around dressed like Bobby Knight, like all the time.
What would be the band, the 90s alt rock band that JTT would be wearing? I got an
Toad the
idea
Wet
in my head.
Sprocket.
I
Toad
was
the
thinking
Red-
Smashing Pumpkins. I can see him be
Okay.
a Pumpkins guy.
All right.
Despite all his rage, he's still just a rat in a cage.
All right. I mean, JTT came up in D.C. There's a vibrant underground music scene in Washington, D.C. So who knows what he's into. Okay, so what I was going to say is if
Minor
JTT
Threat.
wants to chime in, and I would love to get JTT on the show, we can ship JTT the link to be on the show, like on the show.
If he wants to.
if
Listen,
he
he
wants
might
to.
have a soft pant on and like a four non-blonde shirt, not appropriate for camera, so that's okay. We do have some UEFA stuff to talk about off the top. We'll be getting that MLS stuff a little bit later on. But the UEFA stuff this week, did you get the pleasure of watching?
So it's the job, right? I don't know if you knew this, but I do have a radio show.
Nice. Well, congrats.
WNBC. WNBC.
Holding
Locked
on
in
by
like
my
a 10-year
fingernails.
deal.
Yeah, well, actually, contract's coming up. So, knock on wood that I still have a job come 3 months from now.
Nice.
But as part of that job, I am sort of required to be aware of what's happening in the Champions League. We came on the air right after the final. Somebody said in my Blue Sky mentions, Footinalia, which I liked, but it is a little bit, you have to kind of unpack
What is
it.
that?
It's
I don't
like,
get it.
like Bacchanalia. You know what a Bacchanalia is?
Is that like a thing where you drink wine?
It's like a party, a crazy party in
Is it
Rome.
like a christening with wine?
It's like what you guys do in the Empire with the keys in the bowl, but lots of wine. You do that.
Oh, there's partner switching and stuff?
I think there's stuff
Oh,
like that.
man,
So-
nice. I
so
didn't
with,
get to make me a Bacchanalia.
with 18 games happening all at the same time, that was the thing. Like, it's just impossible to follow. And of course, being the proud American that I am, I was watching our American players. I was keeping an eye on.
So
our boys.
here's an interesting exercise, okay? And I wouldn't mind people in the chat to mention this as well. If you were watching Champions League, when all the games are kicking off same time, are you watching PSV versus Liverpool? Are you watching Weston McKennie captain Juventus? Or are you watching Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musah, two Americans on the field? Christian Pulisic, one of the best players in Serie A. What did you watch that day?
So I set up a little 4-screen situation.
Okay.
Before I realized that I don't know if I'm not paying for the right tier or what, and my wife is in a very much like a cancel all the subscriptions mode, like let's cut back, let's get rid of them. So I don't know if I can pull this off if it is available. But I learned that you're only allowed to have 3 concurrent streams on Paramount Plus.
Oh,
Only allowed to have 3 going.
Never tested that.
Well, so I had a TV, and my laptop, and I actually had another tablet, like a pretty decent 10-inch screen, and I was like, I get to watch 4 games, or I get to watch 3 games and the Whip Around Show, Golasso, where
I
they
didn't know.
pulled
I
in-
never seen the whip around show.
It's Nico Cantor, and
So it's their red zone.
Yes, exactly. So in this instance, yeah, you work during the day. You're a normal person. But in this instance, it's Nico with the main crew for their Champions League coverage. So Micah Richards and Jamie Carragher and who's the French guy?
Thierry
That was
Henry.
really good. That guy, Thierry
That
Henry.
show's amazing, but
So those 3 guys with Nico responding to everything happening. So it's a lot of Michael.
well, I
Richards
might
making big
tune in there. I didn't
noises.
realize it was those 3 guys doing that as well.
It's not normally. It was on the final day of the
Oh,
of the league phase. So again, 18 games concurrently happening, and of course, Michael Richards being a massive Manchester City guy, it was all like, oh, is City going to beat Club Brugge to make it in? And Micah's having a heart attack and all that, and eating during the show. Don't eat on camera. If you can't avoid it, don't eat on camera. It's like, Jared always eats right before we come on the air, and it's not fun for me. It's not great. Just didn't say that. Like, I love you, brother, but no. Okay.
Well, don't make times. That's recording time 6 p.m.
That's my fault. Yeah, it's totally my fault. You live on the West Coast. I can't help it. All right, so they did the whip around show, and I had that on one screen because I wanted to see what was happening, like in terms of the table and all that. I had the Liverpool PSV game, and I had that because I wanted to, see what Ricardo Pepi could do. I knew Malik Tillman was injured, wasn't going to play, but I knew already that Pepi was going to start. Peter Bosz had said that the day before. We also knew that Liverpool wasn't bringing anybody. I mean, none of the stars went to Holland, but that was like, it was okay. Like, yeah, sure, this is the way,
First place secured.
It's our guys. Like, I'm not going to be like, it's our guy. I'm not going to care who he's playing against on the other side. I'm just going to worry about.
You could make the argument that Liverpool's B team may be as good as some of the better teams in Eredivisie. You could make that argument.
Yeah, sure. There's that is very possible considering how deep Liverpool is. I absolutely agree with you on that. So I had that. I think I had the Milan game. I did have the Milan game up. They went to Zagreb. And so
my man Musah lost his head, dude.
Yeah, not great for Yunus.
2 yellow cards in 35 minutes? Is that what it was?
Great. Not great. Really put his team behind the 8 ball. And Christian did what he could to yank his team back with a goal and got this close to getting a chance at a penalty kick to pull it level. I think that was the timing of the goals. But because Leao got pulled down in the box or got knocked, got taken out by the goalkeeper, but they went back and reviewed it. And VAR said that Leao put an arm out, caught the defender in the face, foul in the build-up, and there goes Milan's chance to improve their place. Now, Milan is through, Juve is through, despite their loss, and they didn't look great. And I guess you do want to mention that Weston McKennie got to captain Juve in a Champions League match. I mean, who cares?
Listen, there are big names on that field. If Vlahovic is on that field, I mean, there's a lot of the regular starters were in that game, and yet they still defaulted to Weston McKennie. So, do you think this is a reward just for the patience and the versatility of playing so many different positions over the course of the year? I mean, this is a guy that was not part of the plan in summer. It wasn't even traveling with the team in the summer, and he's captaining a Champions League team come January. What does that say about Weston McKennie, and why him? Do you think that was when you think of Weston McKennie, do you think mature? Do you think poise and like leadership?
I think he leads by example in the sense that he is busting his ass when he's on the field. Like, okay, there. I guess there have been some moments when you're like, well, is Weston really in this game? Is he really giving everything he's got? But for the most part, he is so adaptable and he is so willing to give what he. I mean, think about the goal that he set up with Tim Weah against City, right? That he starts the sequence, he makes the run through midfield, he shows up at the right moment to score the acrobatic goal, and I think that it embodies everything about what a manager wants as an example for everybody else. Like whether he is a leader, and I mean, I don't know. He's the guy that goes to bat for his boys.
Danilo leaves in the transfer window, so that's their classic captain. I don't know. I was a little bit surprised by it, but I was happy to see it. I don't know, given the performance, if he's going to get another chance with it. But he has always stepped up in Champions League games. And I do have one question for you while we're still on Champions League. I got to pick your poison for you, and it's coming from the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me share that. Everybody got that? Everybody got last week? Got real messy technically. Is that good? Everybody heard?
Yeah, yeah.
Heard? Okay, go ahead.
Who did it better? Gio's assist with the back heel or Pepi's assist on the shoulder pass? If you're taking one, which one's a favorite for you?
So I think I think Pepi's play is more useful as a sign of what he can do on a regular basis. Like what I'm saying is it's not flashier, obviously, but it has more sort of general utility. Like, you can imagine him doing it again. I'm not sure Gio ever pulls off that back heel assist again.
I'm going with Pepi. It's so impressive when you see, like, because it's not just a chest pass. It's so softened into the path of the runner. It's a more mature touch that I thought Pepi had in his bag, to be honest with you. Sometimes I just think of him as a 12 yards out finisher, like scrappy, gets on the ends of things. I don't really think of him as a guy that has that tool in the bag, you know?
Yeah, no, this is, and I think that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's an indication of the improvement of Ricardo Pepi. Like, we knew he was a finisher, and the goal he gets credit for, although I'm still not 100% he touched it.
I go back and forth, dude. Like, sometimes I see, like, yeah, there's a spin change, but the defender looks like he touches it too. Yeah. It's a tough one, man. I think that thing got touched by every player except for the goalie.
Whether or not he touches the ball, he makes the goal with the run. Flashing in front of defender, flashing in front of a goalkeeper.
Freezes the keeper.
Freezes everybody, right? And that's the run you're supposed to make.
Yep.
And you watch, of course, I got eyes on Pepi. So I'm watching that sequence develop. I see the ball go wide. I see that there's space in behind, and I see him make the run. I go, boom, that's what you want. And he makes those runs consistently. Like,
I think the Gio back heel is helped by the finish. The finish was beautiful.
The finish was pretty. Yes,
the touch, little chip. I mean, it was a beautiful goal all around. But for me, I know Gio's got that in his bag. You know, I don't think it's his normal bag, but he's got a bag where, like, it's your nice luggage. You know, like, it's not the one you're taking, like, when you're just going to the local hotel for a weekend. When you're going to Europe, you got your nice baggage. That was his nice baggage.
Yeah.
You know, so
okay.
But Pepi showed me something different that I hadn't seen from him before.
No,
and
but
it's a player oozing with confidence. You can't say anything about Gio, which maybe makes Gio's more impressive. He has no reason or reason to think he can pull a move like that off right now.
No, but that's Gio's strength, right? That's Gio's strength. Gio's strength is that Gio never, ever, ever doubts himself.
I guess that's true.
Gio comes to
Gio's a goldfish.
Or he's just a cocky son of a bitch.
I'll take it.
Which, you know, he's allowed to be, right? I'm not even mad at him for that.
Is he allowed to be for not playing as much? I don't know.
Okay, what I'm saying is he's talented enough that he should carry that attitude into every situation. Like unless you believe that attitude is a detriment to his playing time, unless you believe that's part of the reason he doesn't get as much time as we want him to get, I want him that way. Like, I want him to think he can do it every single time he steps on.
I want him that way.
Remember when we would talk about the thing that Gio would do is call for the ball in the most insane possible moments? He's got three guys bracketing him, and he's like, "Give me the damn ball!
Yeah,
give me the ball! Like, what are you doing?
I'm always
here."
open."
Exactly. That's Gio's out, and again, he is wrong on a regular basis. But I think if you are going to be great, you have to have that attitude. Like,
it's interesting from Lefty right here. Claudio wasn't cocky, or at least he didn't come off that way on the field. I don't know what he was outside. So it's interesting where he gets that. Is it growing up in a soccer family, and like is it always having people around you telling you you're good? I'm not sure what it is.
Gio had helicopter parents who told him he was the best all the time. I mean, that was in evidence.
What's that like?
Right? Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I grew up in a house in my room before I got to decorate it, where my parents had Princeton and Yale like pennants in my room. Like, yeah, guys, you're reaching for the stars, and I'm right here rooted to the ground.
Yeah. All right. So, what else in the Champions League? I mean, again, we're talking about Pepi's assist and Pepi's goal. Very nice stuff. Obviously, okay. The other side of this for Ricardo Pepi, and we can move on. I think we've covered all of the American performances in the competition. The issue is that Ricardo Pepi, there was a chance of a move. There was a chance of what was it? A transfer to West Ham? Is
it 25 million, I believe it was.
Yeah, so a 25 million euro offer, which is roughly, 20 million pounds? It's not you think about it, it's pretty...
Josie left MLS for 20 million, just to give some context to it. You know, Almiron left Atlanta for 26. I mean, here's the thing. West Ham is buying a PSV bench player. Let's be honest.
Yes.
He's a PSV bench player. Should he be? No. But that's what he is. So there is some inherent risk on West Ham's part in purchasing him,
Yeah.
because it's not like you're seeing this guy play 90 minutes every week. Granted, he got the start of the Champions League and picked up a knock. Going to be out like a couple months, it sounds like right now. Not the whole rest of the season, but it's putting the March cap. Well, a knee injury. Knee injury.
Yeah,
I didn't see what the actual diagnosis of the injury was. Did you?
All I've seen is it's not an ACL tear.
Yeah.
That's all I've seen. Now, and actually I heard something today that makes sense. It's possible this is one of those you could have surgery or you could try to rehab through
I
it,
think it's MCL or PCL then if it's something like that.
which not great, right? And obviously the sad thing is if there was a legit offer on the table from West Ham, which apparently PSV was already saying no to.
Yeah.
But there was always a chance they would go back to the table.
I mean, after this performance against Liverpool, he may have had a few more. I mean, there was people saying that, hey, let's pick him up and drop Darwin Nunez,
So let me ask you about that. Okay, again, I think it looks like this might be cooked for the moment, or it might be on hold.
Yeah, and let's say the March camp is likely out the window for him.
Oh, I don't think he makes the March camp now, which is sad, which sucks. And there is obviously a question for the U.S. men's national team and Mauricio Pochettino of what to do.
I think we'll have a segment on that in a little bit, but I want to save that for later.
You want to debut the new drop, which didn't get on the show the way it should have last week?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I say big balls.
There it is.
I say big balls.
Sexy Argentine accent, talking about big balls.
Talking about me.
Ricardo Pepi's got some of those. I will give him credit for that. Now, would West Ham have been a good place for Pepi?
Man, that's a tough one. London, big expectations, but not a team that necessarily big expectations. I should say big city. I don't know if there's big expectations for West Ham.
Yeah, well, they have. I think in general, West Ham expectations do not connect right with their actual place in English football. Does that make sense? Like, there's this expectation that they're supposed to be a Tottenham level team at least, and they just haven't been there.
14th in the table right now. I mean, they're not in too much danger, but they're not in great position. Obviously looking to bolster themselves down the stretch. So
they have a striker problem, right? Mikel Antonio got hurt. Jared Bowen was hurt for a while. I'm missing somebody else who was playing in that position that got hurt. So they had an opening in the sense that
there's opportunity. There's opportunity, but isn't Mikel Antonio still their guy when he gets healthy?
Yeah, but he broke his leg in a car accident, so I don't think they're sure about that. And again, Jared Bowen, I think, is probably the guy they would rather have starting most games if Pepi was in this team. But obviously this injury now punts that down the road. I think he could get a move in the summer, but I don't know that. I think you might have dodged a bullet by not going to West Ham. I think you might have dodged a bullet a little bit.
If he's going to go to the Premier League, I guess West Ham is the level I'd like him to go to. If you're going to go someplace where you're going to play and get opportunities. Don't go to Arsenal. You're not going to play. We've seen that with players in the past. Be realistic. I would prefer to see him make a move, maybe to a La Liga or maybe a Bundesliga. I mean, I don't know. Augsburg was so rough for him.
No, back to it's Spain somewhere. I'm even a Betis or.
But as long as
like
he's
that.
at PSV, he's gonna have two knocks. One, super sub. It's a title he doesn't want, but he's tasked with. The other one is you score a lot of goals in the Eredivisie. That's always a knock on everyone. It's even the conversation revolving around. Why am I blanking on the Mexican striker right now that's being linked to AC Milan?
Yeah. Oh my God, Santi Jimenez.
It's the same conversation there. Like, how good is he really? He's getting talked about with a lot of big teams, but at the end of the day, it's the Eredivisie. I mean, you have to go back to Zlatan and a couple other guys before you find guys who have actually transitioned. Van Nistelrooy, Zlatan, like guys who have transitioned to the highest level. A lot of guys look like Josie Altidore looked like a rock star in the Eredivisie.
Yeah, but they've had guys come out of that league and turn into actually.
Sure, but I think it's hit or miss though, more than a lot of other leagues.
Okay, I haven't done the research. I mean, the name that comes to mind is Suarez. Obviously, you mentioned Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, those are years ago, though.
And those are generation. That's a generation ago in both cases. That is fair. Okay, so Ricardo Pepi doesn't look like he's going to West Ham, out injured. We will talk about the U.S. men's national team striker situation, but the man, the myth, the legend, JTT has joined us. And I don't want to miss out on an opportunity to talk to him about sort of MLS media landscape stuff, U.S. Open Cup. He's talked to Nelson Rodriguez. Hey, look, he did that himself. I did not have him put that name thing up there. So.
I did indeed do that myself, gentlemen. Good evening.
For the
OMFPG-13, it's JTT!
And look, my man is representing his hometown, the District of Columbia, by wearing a Ben's Chili Bowl shirt right there. That's a DC institution.
Is that like
Jared.
competing with the Cincinnati chili? Like, I don't know anything about it. Like,
Well, no, it's superior because we don't put it on pasta.
yeah, is there spaghetti in yours? Like, no.
I'm ready.
Nope.
I'm ready.
I know you
for
are.
the fight.
I love that Nicky's not even here to defend himself.
Here's what I'm going to say. It's been a long week in my hometown, as Jason knows as well as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, Ricardo Pepi should not go anywhere near West Ham.
Okay. Yeah.
Why is that, John? Why is that?
It's not a
toxic.
well-run club, A.
Mm-hmm.
And B, I think it's too big a jump at once.
Would you rather go to Brentford?
He doesn't want a Premier League. I don't think you want. You don't want.
Brentford is a better run club.
Better run club, 4 points ahead. Don't need a striker as much as West Ham. So is it better to go to a good club or where you're going to get opportunity?
Where you're going to get opportunity, and I don't know that the Premier. Where you're going to get opportunity, but West Ham is not a well-run club, and it hasn't been.
That
for
is
a while.
a fair statement. That is a fair statement.
But all the bubbles, John. The bubbles. You're not thinking about the bubbles.
And as much as the Augsburg move did not work, I wouldn't mind him going back to Germany. I just think that the Eredivisie to the Premier League, when we know that there's not a lot of defense played in the Eredivisie,
that is fair.
A big jump.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, we know now that it was Augsburg. It wasn't Pepi. I think that's pretty clear at this point. I don't think it was a Pepi issue. I think it was a tough team.
I don't know that they're ready to spend this kind of money, but I will not say, and I know, look, you've got Raul Jimenez, who has been okay so far. I mean, okay, pretty good. We've got Carlos Vinicius. We've got Rodrigo Muniz, who hasn't done much. Fulham could go after Ricardo Pepi, and I'd be okay with that.
I would be okay with that too, but I would love to see him in Spain. I would love to see more Americans in Spain generally. I know the passport rules are a little tough.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more Americans in France too, and I'm not sure how many French clubs right now are a jump up from PSV. But
if Lille decides to sell Jonathan David and they have a little bit of money to throw around, they could certainly turn around and buy a Pepi for cheaper than they sell David, and just
he might walk for free, so they might want to buy cheap.
I wonder if Pepi likes breast.
All right, we're going to move on. No, I'm just kidding. That's
real quick, John, before we're going to move on to a topic that you know a lot about, but a quick question. Sure, be honest with me. Be honest with me. You've read all those books behind you?
No.
There's not that many.
Okay, I appreciate that because, I mean, if I had my bookshelf, I'd have the same answer. I just wonder.
There's a larger bookcase that way that is not on camera. I haven't read all those books either. I would love to someday, but
gold books, right? Gold books.
I don't have time to read as many books as I'd like.
Jason hasn't read his either. I'm telling you.
What I will say is, go ahead, Jason.
I've read a lot of books. I just haven't read every book that I've been given. Just haven't, there's anyway, go ahead.
What I will say is that, as Jason knows, I think from the last time I was on the show, I live in an apartment, not in a house like some people, which is why the scenery is not as dramatic as it is for the two of you.
Oh, you mean like with my random wires behind me and my kid's size 4 ball back there?
And a fireplace, it looks like in Southern California.
The fireplace has never been lit.
Last week he had to dip out on the show at the very end because his firewood was being delivered. And I was like, you live in Southern California.
It was like a 3/4 of a cord. It was a lot. And I had to go on. Hey, it was the flow of 40 today.
Oh,
40. Really?
Yeah.
You're outnumbered. You're outnumbered for the moment, Jared.
That's fire weather.
You live. All right. JTT is here to talk actual soccer things,
yes.
and let's bring it domestic. I'm glad he's here. So lots of things have happened domestically. One of them is that Major League Soccer has made some decisions around the Open Cup, and I think this is going to be an educational experience for Mr. DuBois because I don't think he's caught up on this. I don't have the graphic in front of me, John, and I don't know if you know which teams are in which competition off the top of your head.
I know enough about it.
Okay, well, Major League Soccer last year threw a big hissy fit over the Open Cup. It's run poorly, and the fields are bad, and we don't like our product being there.
Let's do a Leagues Cup that no one cares about instead.
And they paused for a month for Leagues Cup, and yeah.
Said fixture congestion as a result of it.
And definitely there's a little bit, there's clearly some propaganda happening in terms of the messaging as we've doubled the number of teams participating in the Open Cup or whatever it is. But it still doesn't mean everybody's participating in the Open Cup, and there are some truthers and some traditionalists out there who are kind of upset.
Look, I wrote the piece that I wrote for a reason, which is they have made progress, but don't let anybody tell you that they're all the way there. Because all the way there is everybody's in the Open Cup. And the league treats it properly, which they are still not yet doing. The complaints that they've had, or that they've claimed that they've had, which they probably have had, about nobody should play in the Open Cup at a loss, including the lower league teams, and venue standards and all this other stuff. Sure. Their real complaints were about other things, and we all know it. I believe, Jason, you have not just one, but multiple radio shows where you have talked about this very subject.
Multiple broadcasting outlets.
You do
I
multiples?
would say.
Yes.
Man, look, I just
no
can't get
allegiance
enough
to me.
of talking into a microphone. So I do it too many times in a given
On
week.
behalf of America, we've had enough.
So So I was in New York a couple days ago.
Enough of me.
Yeah,
Not
right,
enough
yeah.
of what the other things that are happening, but enough of me. Yeah, that's where America's at right now. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate it.
I was in New York a couple of days ago for a couple of business matters, and one of them ended up being to sit down with Nelson Rodriguez at MLS headquarters, and he said he'd take some questions from me, so I'd asked him. And among the things that I asked him out of this, because buried in the 16 teams in the Open Cup headline was a decision by Major League Soccer that any given team in the league this year is only going to play in at most 2 cup tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And Nelson Rodriguez said to me on the record that we have a responsibility to look at player load. Well, that was the first time I'd heard anybody at MLS say that in 30 years.
Uh-huh.
Because
but
I
is
think
it genuine, John? Is it genuine? That's a genuine answer, or is that a way out of getting out of the Open Cup?
It doesn't have to be in my book because he said it and nobody else had said it before.
Okay, sure. But Nelson Rodriguez is the Chinese finger trap of MLS conversation. So
but
yeah.
Both is.
I pushed him, though I pushed him on it a little bit because he said two phrases in the course of the conversation that I found notable. Player load and fan fatigue. He said, part of it is being conscious of player load, and this doesn't get said often, but at least I believe there's also fan fatigue. And I said to them, oh, you're finally admitting it.
Yeah, but fan fatigue, which was created by MLS, they're
agree
letting themselves. I think they're trying to let themselves off the hook here with that. I agree. Fan fatigue is a thing.
There's a trend of people making problems and saying, I'm the only one that can clean them up.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. But the first step is acknowledging you have a problem, right?
Sure. Candid.
So if somebody at MLS, because Don Garber hasn't said it yet, somebody at MLS who's high enough and has power behind closed doors finally said, yes, we've actually heard the fan complaints. We realize they're getting fed up. And maybe he did not say this part, though I tried to get him to. Maybe he noticed how many empty seats were at the League's Cup last year.
I don't think it's going to be much different this year, if I'm being honest with you, John.
I agree with you.
It's
but
a different tournament this year, but who knows?
What I pushed him on and tried to, as I've said to people in the last few days since the story went up, I put the trough of the water in front of the horse and I tried to get the horse to drink the water. The horse looked down at the trough, thought the water might be appetizing, realized I was on the other side of it and refused to drink the water. So,
Okay.
So,
okay.
It seems obvious to me and enough other people that the League's Cup can be structured in a way that it's the second-tier club competition here. Because there are clubs in the CONCACAF Champions Cup and the League's Cup. That, to me, is a flaw. You can have it where X number of clubs are in the Champions Cup, the next 16 are in the League's Cup, and then you have a scenario where if every club's only going to play in 2 competitions, then everybody can be in the Open Cup.
Yeah,
If
and
that's-
I'll say beyond that, John, like as a not even of a fan of these two teams, but when I see the Open Cup roster and I don't see Seattle or Kansas City in it, that hurts. These
I'm
are
with
two.
you.
I mean,
Sure.
Kansas City's MLS next
Sure.
pro team is in it. Let's
I'm
not
with you.
let's not get it twisted.
No. But how about yes? Because both those teams have would
Historic.
have a chance if they wanted this year to match the all-time record for
Yeah.
Open
and the
Cup
defending
titles.
champion, not that Jared acknowledges that team is not in the tournament either.
That too,
Yeah.
right? That one sticks out to me. How are you going to call your participation in this tournament legitimate if you don't let the defending champion participate?
I'd never called it fully legitimate. What I'm trying to get,
Not you.
what I
I'm
tried-
talking
right.
them. I'm talking
tried
about
to
them,
get
John.
them to is to say, is there a future where the League's Cup becomes the second tier club competition in the way
Too
that
much
the
money
Europa
in it.
League is in Europe?
But
They have to admit, because they would have to be willing to devalue that competition commercially in order to make it happen.
Why could we ever imagine, and this is about MLS, but also about UEFA and also about the Premier League and also about every other organization organizing football in any given part of the country or part of the world or whatever, Liga MX obviously as well. They want control. They do not willingly relinquish control, John. So I can't imagine MLS is like, yeah, you know what we're going to do? Make the League Cup secondary to the Champions Cup because that's better for the league or better for the fans or better for North American soccer. It's not. It's. I'm too cynical to believe it could.
Well,
ever
there's an
happen.
opportunity here to have a bit of synergy between these tournaments that would make it more appetizing, at least to me, is if you ran the Open Cup and the Open Cup ahead of League's Cup, which if I'm not mistaken, I think it does for a portion of it. And then the top 4 teams of the Open Cup came into the League's Cup, and the bottom teams, the first teams that get eliminated out of the Champions Cup, come in as well. And that's part of the League's Cup makeup. That's more interesting to me because that means an amateur team could make it all the way to the League's Cup potentially if you let in the top 4 finalists.
I'm
of the
not
Open
asking
Cup.
for that. I'm not asking.
I am.
I know, but if the League's Cup is going to remain a competition for the professional leagues, if the only thing stopping it from being the CONCACAF equivalent of the Europa League for MLS and Liga MX, because there is already an equivalent for the rest of the continent. There is already a second-tier club competition that teams from other countries, not the U.S. and Mexico, are in.
You mean one or the regionals? You're talking about the regional
You mean
ones?
Libertadores? What are you talking
Called,
about?
no, it's called like the CONCACAF League or something like that. And the top 3 teams in it qualify to the Champions Cup.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But isn't that fed by like a Caribbean championship?
Yes.
Caribbean,
And the Central America and so on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So there is an avenue to make that happen, but it would require allowing for the potential of devaluing the commercial value of the League's Cup, and Apple won't have that, I'm sure.
No. And that's ultimately the master at play in all of this is Apple. I mean, it would be naive to think otherwise, right? I mean, it seemed to be, at least the way I read it last year, is that the fit that MLS had over the Open Cup may have been about things that Garber mentioned in the U.S. Soccer board meeting, but it could also be that Apple people were like, why is Lionel Messi playing in a competition that's not on our service?
And what did they promptly do? They gave them some broadcast rights, and that was the end of that. So, I think, and I raised it as a suggestion. It wasn't shot down. They weren't going to shoot it down like that to me, obviously. But I, as a lot of other people do, start from the end goal of getting every American MLS team into the Open Cup. How do you get there? Well, you've created a rule, a sensible rule that every team is going to play in at most 2 cup tournaments. Okay, then don't have teams double up on the Champions Cup and the League's Cup. That opens the door to get everybody in the Open Cup.
Yeah,
Okay,
everyone who's not in the Champions League goes to League's Cup, and then everyone also does the Open Cup. That's your tier.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or whether it's everyone or 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things. One more thing on this before we move on, because I do have other things I want to ask John about. But one of them is, where is U.S. Soccer what is their role in any of this? Because again, I will reference people who are sort of justifiably, even though I think there's clearly a reading U.S. Soccer can use to get MLS off the hook here, but there are lots of people saying it's a requirement that you're supposed to play in your domestic cup competition if you are a first division professional soccer team, or any professional soccer team for that matter, John.
I think U.S. Soccer's place, having talked to various people over time, including recently David Applegate, whose jobs include commissioner of the Open Cup. Jason, I believe you know him. Jared, I don't know if you've met him over the
Christina's
years.
dad?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. My bad.
No. I don't know what drops Jason has for that.
I don't know.
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
I don't know what you want me to play.
But the general sense I've gotten from people is, can we please not have a stupid fight out in the public? That's U.S. Soccer's perspective, and can we not basically?
Have they seen what's going on over at NASL?
Oh, I think they have, and here's what I will say about that. In general, in court, the smarter party is the one that keeps its mouth shut the most.
Oh, good luck with that with Rocco.
I believe that Rocco Camiso has talked his. I'm not in that courtroom. I know some reporters are. I have not been following as closely as I would probably like to. I think Rocco may have talked his way out of winning that suit, and that's just my own personal opinion.
I mean, that's not. I don't think that comes as a shock to a lot of people who have interacted with Rocco Camiso, who is obviously a smart guy, but is absolutely not capable all the time of maybe holding back. The thing that we found out in that trial is that Jared, he had a burner. Did you know about his burner?
I heard about it. What was the account name? Did they give the account name?
It was like
Global Soccer Fan or something like that. Yeah.
Fan _
Come
global.
on, it could be way better, like Don Garber's balls or something like that. Like it could have been something funny.
What? Okay, that would be inappropriate. And Rocco is anything but no.
Oh, sure.
What I was going to say,
Dude, this honestly, a burner. Can you imagine Chuck Blazer in the era of burner accounts?
Oh man.
What if I said yes? I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's
Parrot Head 69.
I don't think it's impossible to imagine that many soccer executive in America has had a burner account. Whether they used it to actually say things or engage is different than if they had one to. I believe Siggy Schmid, the late great Siggy Schmid, may have had a burner account at one point on one.
I know Jim Curtin had one, and may still.
Well, there you go. Jim Curtin doesn't need a burner now. He doesn't. He can say whatever he wants, up to a point. What I was going to say is, obviously, that does not look good for NASL at the moment, but we will see where it goes.
I would say the specific terminology in particular that was used on that burner account, and the fact that the lawyers got Camiso to admit on the stand that he had used those words was not the smartest thing I've ever seen.
He may have compared soccer executives, soccer figures in America like Don Garber, Sunil Gulati to some of the worst criminals in history.
Yeah,
Jared. He may have compared them to Bernie Madoff, maybe, for example, is one of the names that came up. I think there may have been
saying
another...
they're talking about the soccer pyramid.
Exactly. Rocco was commenting on the soccer pyramid in America. All right. Yeah. Okay. So again, lots of things happening. Want to touch on another thing that John wrote about, and I'll admit I did not get a chance to actually read this story, John. That's on me. But I know you also touched on the schedule switch idea. Can you catch us up, maybe what you know on MLS's place on that right now?
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm not the first person who has written about this. Paul Tenorio and Henry Bushnell did coming out of the Board of Governors meetings a couple of months ago. And since I was in the building at MLS headquarters, I thought I'd ask, well, how's that gone along since then? And is there any further progress on the subject? And I will read the quotes from Nelson Rodriguez here. It is being discussed. It remains in exploration and examination. And he said, if a decision, and it's an if to make a flip, happens, it's natural, somewhat romantic to think of it as coming out of the World Cup in 2026, but it's not essential. And the reason why the 2026 hook has come up and been discussed behind closed doors is because they're going to have to break for so long in the summer of 2026 that it might make sense to pull the trigger at that point.
So you have a truncated, like just March, or maybe try to start back up in January and run to May. I mean, what does that season look like that year? That's an interesting one.
I couldn't tell you, but you're gonna play some soccer games.
There's going to be some asterisks.
Somebody a trophy.
The winners of that thing. And just do Leagues Cup, and that's it. That's all you have to do, baby. This is the in game Leagues Cup.
Well,
that's what make it last 3 months.
I asked what the timeline was. He says the work will be done this year, and a decision will be taken at some point this year.
I feel like this dude's like
interesting.
George R.R. Martin. Like at some point you're going to get the last book, but who knows what the timetable is.
I told you, man. It's like Chinese finger trap. It's like you don't know what's happening. I can't get out, but you can't figure out what's going on. It's
if it doesn't end up happening, then I'll raise that point with people next January and say so.
JTT, I got one more question for you before we let you go. True or false? That bed was made before you decided to come on.
Huh?
Did you make the bed? Like, was your bed already made, or did you make it? You make it in the morning?
He's a good boy. He makes his bed every morning. What are you talking about?
Oh God, I'm so behind him in the world. I'm so a child still.
Oh well, that's not a surprise. JTT, thank you very much for coming on.
Do you know how much I would have to clean my room before I could turn on a camera?
Oh man, my room is in
all my wife's stuff. By the way,
I live with a wife who keeps it that way. Not claiming that myself. JTT, thank you so much. Should I play you out?
Tell the people to go read the thing I wrote about the Apple stuff.
Hey, where can they find that? Where can they find that, JTT?
Yeah,
I'm on Blue Sky. And throw my name in there; it'll come up.
It's not under the goalkeeper.
No,
he's not the goalkeeper over there.
Was it taken?
No, I'm sort of done with that branding and have been for a long time.
Identity shift.
It's over.
Pretty soon he's going to call. He's just going to go by X.
End of an era.
Look, you were being indoctrinated with Princeton and Yale stuff back in the day. No wonder you went in the wrong direction. But that's
no Nittany Lions up in here.
Okay.
No, not Penn State.
It's an.
I went to Penn State.
It's an Ivy League battle. You're all There's certainly. Oh gosh, I can't handle that right now. Thank you.
It's all East Coast stuff, dude. I don't understand any of your stuff.
PG-13. It's JTT.
You guys got all these secret societies on the East Coast. Like no one, like handshakes.
You wish you were in a secret society. Don't lie. Don't say.
I like those ones where they like have like big orgies and stuff like that. You know, like that's cool.
I mean, we just talked about the
like Eyes Wide Shut or whatever.
Don't you guys have the key parties with the bottles and the stuff?
Yeah, but I could use some masks. I don't need to. People don't need to see this.
You get like burritos delivered or whatever it is that you do. I don't know how that fits into the whole vibe. I don't know. It feels like the wrong kind of sustenance for said activity. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
up
on
something out, man.
Okay, I'm not. That's okay. I want to move on. Hit on a couple things before we have to wrap this up. I just saw the news as we were on the air. Miguel Almiron landed in Atlanta. Jared, he's back. He's a member of Atlanta United once again.
What do you think the first meal he gets is when he hits Atlanta? Is he eating craving some like Southern food, or is he just going to go get
food?
Or is he just going to go get some kind of Latin fare?
Yeah, he might be getting some fried chicken and some macaroni and something like mac and cheese,
something with a biscuit,
collard greens, something like that. Like, have you ever had? There's a lot in LA. I forgot. There's a lot of really good soul food in LA, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like I really, really want to go. That's one of the big allures for me. I really want to go to Charleston or something like that.
Sure.
I really want to have like some down home Southern cooking, man. Because like I make grits like myself, but it's like instant grits. I know that ain't real grits. Like I want to find like real grits.
Come on,
I make biscuits and gravy and stuff like that. Like my dad was from North Carolina.
You've seen my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Come on.
How long does it take to make grits? How long you at that window?
Yeah. How long does a water
take
the water to
No self-respecting Southerner can make grits in less than 20 minutes.
No self-respecting Southerner uses instant grits, I think is the line. I think that's the line. Somebody help us out on my cousin Vinny. All right, so Miguel Almiron is in Atlanta. Atlanta United's also making the big move on a forward, the kid out of Middlesbrough, Jared. So this is a spending season.
Yeah, lots
Major
of
League
something
Soccer.
like that. His name, it starts with an L. I forget what it is.
Yeah, this winter, is it? Am I wrong to say this is the splashiest winter MLS has ever had?
It definitely is. I mean, I think what you're seeing is a couple teams. What seems to be the secret right now is well placed DPs that are not big names, but have a lot of upside. Like that seems to be the formula that's working. If you look over the last few years, like going back to LAFC with someone like a Buanga, that's not even Vela. That's not those aren't like big, huge names. Maybe in the community, like Mexican community, yeah, Vela, okay, whatever. But then last year with the Galaxy with Painsil and Peck and Ricky Puig, like it's all about having these guys that are just under that level, and it's not about the name. You're not paying, like it's not a Gerard where you're paying for the name. They come here and they're crap. Like really go out there, do your homework. Almiron is beautiful for another reason. It's a homecoming. It's to remind that fan base of what they were like just a few years ago. And like having that back is a genius move to bring him back. I think he still has enough upside to still boss this league around. But the question was always going to be who's going to finish what he creates. And I think seeing them go after a striker right now, a great move for Atlanta. I'm really excited with some of the stuff coming out of the East right now. The most exciting teams for me come through the offseason. Atlanta, San Jose for a whole host of different reasons. San Jose getting Chicho Arango, like that's great bit of business to be able to pull him over there, assuming he comes there with the right headspace. Who else am I most impressed with? Those two were really big, though.
There are some like nasty rumors following Chicho out of Salt Lake. I don't want to get into them because I can't speak directly to the legitimacy of those rumors. But there's some rumors.
Did he drink alcohol on Sunday or something? What?
No. It's deeper. It's worse than that. It involved. There's a victim involved. On some level. I don't want to say how far that goes, and do your own research. Is what I'm going to say to that.
Yeah, the chances this one too. This is an outbound one. Dejan Joveljic potentially going to Tigres. That's a rumor out there from Mr. Bogert.
Yeah, I do want to throw out. You mentioned we mentioned the signing in Atlanta. It is Emmanuel Lath, the Middlesbrough player, $22 million plus add-ons. Now, by MLS standards, that is massive money. Tom Bogert saying it's close. I think it's not completely done yet. Just final steps, though, is what he reported earlier today. They've obviously, again, signed Almiron for something like $10 million. They obviously think it's worth it. I definitely think his value dropped significantly while at Newcastle the last season or two. But they know he can play in this league. If he's got something left in the tank at 30 years old, that could be massive. All right, so yeah, let's.
I mean, the thing about outbound too. We talked about like maybe potentially Joveljic going out, but you got John Duran and the sell-on clause that Chicago Fire is going to net a pretty penny on this move to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, $8 million added on to what is, I think, 22 already. So they're going to be approaching $30 million, which makes it the most lucrative sale in MLS.
It's a bit of a proxy. It's not a direct sale out of MLS. So I could put an asterisk next to it compared to like Almiron's, which is directly like
no. They sold him to Aston Villa for $18 million plus add-ons, and there's no chance he didn't reach those escalators to get to $22 million.
I know, but when you talk about the biggest transfer moves out of MLS, I would put an asterisk next to that because it's in pieces, No,
but you're taking away credit from the Fire, who understood, hey, we're selling this guy, and he's going to have further value, and we can make some cash on the back end.
So if Galaxy sold Peck tomorrow for $30 million, you think those are equal moves?
Until Peck goes somewhere else and the Galaxy get a sell-on clause and get another 5 or 8 or 10.
I think it's a big move to when you just do a direct move right out for a big amount of money. That's more impressive to me. It's a great bit of business, smart, but it's not guaranteed. That's why the other one to me is more impressive. When you get straight up money up front and it's breaking a record, that's cool.
But I'm pretty sure they were close to the record anyway, which I think is still Fonzie Davies, right? Close to the record. Even before this. But regardless, okay, look.
Almiron was the record at 26. I could be wrong, but...
whatever. Somebody look it up. I think with escalators, with add-ons, Fonzie Davies may have gotten to 27 or something like that. A couple things.
But what's Berhalter going to do with that money?
Hold on. Say a couple things with this. Number one, they cannot convert any more of the money they've made on Duran into GAM. I don't think that this extra $8 million somehow converts into more GAM.
Bottom line, right?
I think it's just the first transaction brought them the max GAM they could get for a sale like this. They obviously are pocketing $8 million more when they get that, and they can do a lot of things with that. They can do academy spending, they can do facilities, which they're adding on to anyway. There's lots of things they can do with $8 million. I don't know if Berhalter is the one that's going to be dispersing that money in any particular way, but obviously Fire did good business. But the other thing about this is, because it's the Fire, this is such a Pyrrhic victory. Fire fans, are you running around going, "Yay, look at us. We won the Duran got sold for more money championship." No, they want to be in the playoffs.
But I'm cheering for MLS though, because how do you get a Gabriel Peck to come to MLS? It's deals like this that they see the leapfrog effect of where players go. It's Almiron, it's
Sure.
Duran,
Sure.
it's Alphonso Davies. It's seeing that leapfrog effect is how you get some of these players into this league. The young DPs. They're a lot more willing to say yes when they see things. John Durant is going 21 years old. 21 years old.
Yeah,
Like,
but he's
that's
going
ridiculous.
he's going to Saudi Arabia, which is the other part of this.
But I mean,
If
he was his choice.
No, I know, but if he was American, I would be distraught over this.
God, you kidding me?
Distraught. I would be so upset if that was the decision he made as an American. But because he's Colombian, I'm like, whatever. Go get your bag.
Make your money, man.
Go spend some time in the sun in Saudi Arabia. I mean, he clearly just wants to get paid and be the man as much as he wants anything. And for him, the level or the prestige of it doesn't matter as much. All right, you mentioned Joveljic already because Lefty mentioned Joveljic. So let's go back to what is becoming a trend, and that seems to be that Liga MX teams keep buying up MLS players and
strikers in particular, like Brandon Vasquez, Caden Cowell. I mean, it's potentially Joveljic now, but it's weird. You would think with seeing the recent track record of both Cowell and Vasquez, there'd be a little buyer beware there, unless it's just an American thing. And Joveljic, obviously being Serbian, maybe he breaks that jinx. But it is interesting that it's almost like Limex is like, will be more attractive marketing wise when we go to Leagues Cup or something like that. If we have Americans on our team, I'm not sure because Brandon Vasquez, good bit of business by, was it Pumas who was that? Was it Pumas who was that?
That sounds right.
I mean, you convinced Austin to give you how much money? 20 million? No, 10 million.
Yeah, no.
Was it 20?
For Vasquez, you're talking
Vasquez.
about?
Yeah.
I think it was 10. I think it was 10. Yeah.
But still, like, you convinced me to give you 10 million for that? I mean, that's good bit of business by them. But yeah, I'm not sure what the trend is here. Why Liga MX is looking to MLS, unless they see us as a bargain kind of bin. I'm not sure. It's kind of weird, especially for someone like Joveljic, who's just coming off a U22 contract and has an EU passport. You would think the move logically is to go back to Europe, not go to MLS. It seems like a lateral move for him. It's odd all around.
Yeah, there are a couple of I mean, but I also think this is just
Monterrey for Brandon Vasquez.
Yeah, it was at Monterrey. I think this is just sort of the weird, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, the market is just, it's congealing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, are we getting too incestuous with our leagues?
No, I think this is what's supposed to happen. Like, if MLS is going to sort of just be part of the market, then it should be ins and outs to and from Major League Soccer that sort of fit into this general vibe.
But do you see as many players coming from Mexico here? Polito's one of the ones I remember. Omar Bravo back in the day.
Chucky Lozano didn't come straight from Mexico.
Yeah,
but
he came from
with
Europe.
San Diego.
I mean,
okay, but it still counts, doesn't it?
Like, he's a Mexican player? Does Vela count? He came from Greece.
Yeah, for sure. Like, why not?
Come on, does Chicharito count? He played like one game for Chivas. He counts?
Well, okay, so you're saying why is MLS not buying
I'm talking about why
Mexican
is MLS not
players?
buying players from Liga MX? You're not seeing that as much unless it's Americans coming back. It seems like it's the other way. Liga MX players grabbing MLS players.
Yeah, well, I do think okay, well, that's because I think MLS is much more interested in being, at least most clubs are much more interested in being international with their scouting focus. Whereas Mexico tends to be a league that is very Mexican, clearly, but also South American focused. And so when you get players that are leaving MLS, I mean, it's in their backyard, right? The scouting is easy. They've seen these teams play. Like, if is it Tigres that's interested in Joveljic? If Tigres signs Joveljic or buys Joveljic from the Galaxy, it's because they've seen Joveljic. They know exactly what he is because they've seen him play. They've been up and close and personal with him. That makes it a lot easier to justify dropping $8, $10, $12 million or whatever it is.
It's an odd move for the Galaxy, though, because you just freed up cap space by selling Brugman and Delgado, two fan favorites, quality midfielders, in exchange for potentially like you think it's to be able to afford Joveljic as he comes off his U22 contract. If you sell Joveljic now, what was it all for? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, this stuff happens though, right? Like occasionally you think, oh, they've sorted out their budget, or they sold this player to make room, or they traded that player to do this, and then oh, okay, now we're settled, and then somebody comes in because that's the way the market works and says, oh, we want that player, and we're going to pay a premium for him. We're going to give you big money for him, and now you're like, oh, well, what's a smart thing to do here? Hold on to Joveljic, or and risk him getting hurt, or not just crashing.
And it's just so late. We're 3 weeks out from the beginning of the season. You're going to be able to go grab a striker right now?
But think about how often this happens to European teams, in English teams in particular, and fans freak out. And it's part. I mean, again, from a Galaxy fan perspective, I could understand why you'd be frustrated by this idea, right? But in terms of like how we want soccer to grow to this year-round churn of information and become the same sort of entertainment that we see in most European leagues that we watch. This is that.
Here's an interesting one from No Name in the chat. If they sell Joveljic, they may steal Griezmann from Chivas USA, LAFC, or go for Lewandowski. Now, the Lewandowski stuff's been around for a while, since last summer, once Royce came, because of their connection. Now, you're not going to get Lewandowski till the summer, if you get him at all. But that's an interesting proposition if you're putting money on the table and you're going to hold it till summer and just have to last till then, because you got Ricky Puig not coming back till probably August. All you have to do if you're the Galaxy is make the playoffs. That's your goal right now. You're not trying to supporter shield. You got no Ricky Puig. You're moving a lot of pieces around. You're bringing Lucas Sanabria in, a new player, under 222 player. And if you're going to wait till the summer and maybe bring in a Lewandowski or something like that, now you're talking about making a cup run again.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm desperate for Antoine Griezmann to play soccer in America. I just that's
he's
one of
not a
those
striker
guys.
though. Like
no, he's not. No, but come on, who would not want to have Antoine Griezmann on their team? He still looks so good. He's still so fun.
Handsome man. You can't put him and Giroud on the same team. That's not fair to everyone else.
No, that's probably true. The hair, the looks, the style.
Plus, we're going for a German thing. They're going for a French thing. Stay in our lanes.
Oh, is that how it works? Once you decide what suave European character you want, you have to stick with it.
Joveljic is Serbian. He's within a couple countries away. We're keeping that around for a bit, you know.
I should mention a couple of more moves. We do have to wrap this thing up because I got to get out of here. Mirto Uzuni from Albania.
Excuse you.
That's a player that Austin has scooped up for something like 12 million.
On the heels of the Brandon Vasquez, they spent some cash this offseason.
They've spent some money. They've spent some money to go out and get some players.
If you look back, look at the Galaxy template from last year. 20 million got them Paintsel, Peck. You know, and that's 20 million is the number you're seeing a lot of teams spend right now. And it's like, okay, maybe that's the number that's palatable for a lot of these owners to try to target some of these players. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the pocketbook's opened up this year, and I'm not sure if there's Apple money. I don't know what it is, but something feels energetic in the MLS landscape right now. But then you have Philly today just announcing cheese sponsorship.
Oh, nice. What kind of a cheese?
A cheese of some kind, yes.
What kind of cheese?
I don't know, but it was a cheese. Cheese not my bag.
Is anybody in here from what part of our
there's just
crew?
some teams doing nothing.
Cheese is the best. Cheese is amazing. Cheese is life.
Toronto's got what 90% of their players coming back, including the Italian. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah, and Robin Fraser's the one that has to wrangle that. I mean,
Robin Fraser has been so screwed by MLS over and over again. The guy is a good coach. I know he's a good coach, but he is not being helped out by any ownership group that he's ever worked for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll just see what happens. All right, we're up against it on our time limit. There's so many other things we could talk about, including Jared, have you commented on the end of extra time? Have you given us your thoughts on that?
Oh, the Wee Beef is squashed.
Yeah, we have no more Wee Beef. Well, he's going to be a sideline reporter, I think.
New beef.
We got new beef?
No, because we're not sideline reporters.
No? Okay. Yeah, that's true. Shout out to
Hey, you know what?
There
was a time where it was us and them, and that was about it.
I know. I told that story on Morning Kick-Arounds because I thought it
was a wild west. And honestly, were we before them? I think we were before them.
No, I think they had in the infancy.
The Borg?
It was like the Borg and Joda Free
and Greg Lawless.
Somebody's gonna help Jonah
and Greg Lawless.
Gonna help me with his name, who's just escaped me. Yeah, Greg Lawless was involved. That was
Man,
way
but they
back in
were
the day.
close together. It was really, I mean, there was around the league too, but that was a different kind of show, like, but doing just like the straight up U.S. soccer talk show, and then we had obviously, why am I blanking on our buddy?
Oh my God, who are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
I don't know, the biggest podcast out there. No, they're on Men in Blazers now. What am I blanking about?
Who's on Men in Blazers now?
They're on their network.
Who's on their network?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. You talking about
Named
Total
another
Soccer
big
Show?
American podcast that's not
Are you talking
scuffed.
about Total Soccer shows?
Yes, you knew what I was talking. Why you let me hang out there?
They're not on the Men in Blazers network.
Oh, I thought they
And
were.
And I would be distraught.
Oh,
if
sorry, they were on athletics. Excuse me.
They were on the. I don't think they're somehow still in. I don't know what's going on. I haven't talked to Taylor in a while. I should catch up with him.
But you remember
and figure
being
that
so
out.
envious of them because they were on an actual radio station too, because they were like on like a local like Virginia station as well as a podcast. You remember that?
I wasn't envious of that because I
always
understood
thought
what
that
they were
was
doing.
cool.
They were on public access. They were doing some stuff.
Yeah,
down there.
but it was crazy because like we were doing video and like no one else was doing video. They were like on radio as well. Like no one was doing that. Extra Time had a ton of money backed by the league, and it was like the three of us, and everyone was doing something a little bit different. And now everybody's got a show, man.
Yeah, there's a million shows. In fact, our man Ben, Vancouver Whitecaps fan, who's in our Slack, let us know that we're included. Best Soccer Show is included in some MLS podcast portal somewhere.
Like official, like on the site.
I don't know. He showed us.
Is that the first time either of our names have ever been on MLS's site?
No, I've done things over there
okay.
before. I've been a pro for a while, so I've
not under a pseudonym.
No, I've popped up there on occasion. I've turned down jobs.
If you
from
search
MLS.
Reginald Merriweather on there, you might find some stuff.
Oh, you know what? I came up with my club name not that long ago.
Oh, you did? What's your club name?
I can't remember now. Escaped me. It's over. It's gone.
Jacques
I'll
Johnson?
figure it out. It's not bad. All right, we got to go. I got extra people in my house. There's a whole lot of things happening right now. So, yeah, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much. Patreon.com/The Best Soccer Show if you want to help us out a little bit every month and keep the show alive. And, Jared, any parting words, any magic words for the people before we say goodbye?
I would say speak truth to power and resist the man.
There you go. Bye, guys.
Another one.
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
Go to DEFCON 2.
Is that JTT?
OMFPG-13, it's JTT!
Oh, it's incredible!
Michael freaking Arasco Fiscal.
Get to the chopper!
I said, big balls.
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
It was there. Oh, here we go, saucing them up. Hit him. What?
WNBC. WNBC.
Who asked those questions?
Jay Rodius.